Hello everybody, how are you? Happy Monday, welcome. I hope today's doing wonderful for you. It is totally awesome day for me. Yeah, oh, wrong thing. Yes, I survived the storm from yesterday. We have had so many storms here in Arizona. Now it is monsoons, but wow, it has been amazing. I want to talk to you today about guilt. Guilt it seems like it's the go-to emotion for women. I think we're born with guilt. I think in the minute we're born, somebody looks at us and says, you need to feel guilty about X, Y, and Z. And we do. I mean, how many of you, when something goes wrong, you're the first to feel guilty about it? You know, you're sitting in a room and somebody comes in and they say, I'm missing a book. And you're like, oh my God, I feel so guilty. You didn't take the book, you had nothing to do with the missing book, but your go-to emotion is guilt. And when you carry guilt around with you, all it is doing is holding you down. It is like this heavy rock that you're just lugging around with you. You know, and not to get to religious connotations or into it now. Everybody here that's, really religious and you object to this, I'm not meaning to offend anybody, I just think it's true. You know, the guilt goes back to, because, again, Catholics, Jewish, Methodist, Lutheran, it doesn't matter. We're all taught that woman was created from the rib of Adam, and if we wouldn't have eaten the forbidden fruit, we wouldn't feel guilty. Well, really, how many of you think you could be around a man that let you eat the fruit? Because he'd be like, here, you can have a bite, but I want the whole thing because I'm hungry. I know, it's a little, probably wasn't a good joke, but anyway. We, I think, are raised from school by virtue of, I don't know if it's being women or what, by virtue that we should always feel guilty. And you have absolutely nothing to feel guilty about. Nothing at all. If something doesn't work out, you just need to say it doesn't work out. I mean, look at the difference between men and women. Men, I mean, you look at some men, and this is an extreme where, Bernie Madoff, he makes off with everybody's money and doesn't have an ounce of guilt. Women take a lollipop off somebody's desk and agonizes over it for 10 years. We have to learn to get past that. If you want to really stand up to who you are, if you really want to stand into your greatness, you have to get past the constant emotion of guilt, the constant feeling that you've done something wrong because you haven't. By mere being here on planet Earth is a gift. And so you have no reason to feel guilty. Now, before I got on here, I had a discussion with somebody, what's the difference between guilt and shame? Shame is something that has been done to you, that you feel shame, that you've been told shame on you. Shame, whereas guilt is something you feel guilty about that you feel like you have done. So it's more outwardly. Shame to me is more somebody has hurt you, and guilt is more within yourself that you feel guilty. So you really have to commit to yourself moving forward that if you feel the emotion of guilt, you have to immediately say to yourself, why do I feel guilty? What have I done wrong? What did I do that that I was not supposed to do? Because if you're acting in your true self and you're making choices based on what's good for you as you should be, not based on the people around you or the world around you, based on what's good for you, you have no reason to feel guilty. You made the decision, you moved on. Now, people say, well, you shouldn't have made that decision to, I don't know, to take the last chocolate chip cookie. Well, you may feel bad about that, but it's all good. So, it's just guilt is this emotion that just kind of hangs over us. And it's hard for us to get rid of. So you really have to consciously work at it. So when you're at the workplace and somebody comes in and says, so-and-so didn't get her presentation done on time, not to feel instantly guilty like it's your fault. Or you have a boss that comes in and says, well, why didn't you help her do it? Well, it wasn't my job, but you instantly feel guilty and you jump up and say, I'll save it, let me fix it. I can take care of it. You've got to say, that's on them. I have nothing to feel guilty about. I'll do me, you do you. And you kind of have to keep that mindset going. Because again, guilt is like such a heavy burden, and it is such a go-to emotion that you really have to think it through and say you never have anything to feel guilty about. I mean, I talked to so many women that they were married and they asked for a divorce, and they'll come back later and say, I feel so guilty about asking for a divorce. Why? It wasn't working. You have to do what works for you. And you have to consider too that chances are the guy's not feeling guilty, because men don't have that instant draw to the guilt that we do. And I just can't help, I've thought about this all weekend, and I just can't help to think that it comes from our early childhood. That, you know, when something goes wrong, we're the first one to have the fingers pointed at ourselves. It's the only thing I can really figure out why we carry such the go-to emotion. You know, when guys do something, we react one way. When women do something, we act totally different. That we kind of knock it off. But you can just take care of you. And if you're just taking care of you, then when that emotion of guilt pops up, you've got to stop and say, what do I feel guilty about? You know, I did the best I could do. Or, you know, I had to take care of myself, or I had to do whatever I did. So don't allow guilt to permeate your life. Don't allow that to be your go-to emotion, because it's hard to get out of. And when you're in the emotion of guilt, you're blocking the universal flow. You're telling the universe, don't give me anything else, because I feel guilty about what I have. And if you give me more, I'll just feel more guilty. And that's not how the universe works. The universe wants you to be happy. The universe wants you to be glad. The universe wants you to stand in who you are, your power. And when you do, it'll continue to deliver more to you. But if you're constantly pushing away, saying, well, I feel bad about that, or I feel guilty because, you know, I quit that job and I gave my notice, my boss was like, please don't leave, you'll leave us in a lurch, and you had to leave anyway because you have another job, so you feel guilty about that. Or, you know, you were supposed to go meet, you know, take care of your mom, and something came up and you couldn't, you feel guilty about that. Get out of the emotion of guilt. Just take care of you. Don't allow somebody else to roll your emotions. Don't allow somebody else to tell you how to act. Act how you want to act. So, and if you have any questions, let me know. I did some coaching a couple years ago and I backed off because I don't know why, because I'm crazy. So I'm back to doing coaching. I'll have some programs up on my website probably this week. It's, you know, the same one I offered before. It's an hour and a half just to sit down and really try to figure out where you're at, where do you want to go, and how do we get you there. So if you're interested in coaching, let me know, comment below. If you're looking to attend a workshop, I'm doing a workshop on September 29th here in Phoenix, Arizona. That will be up on my Facebook page by tomorrow afternoon, as soon as we pick the title, because that seems to be holding us up. But it's with myself and a co-presenter. I'm really excited about it. So let me know if you have any questions. Stop the emotion of guilt. So we've talked so far in the past couple weeks of shame and guilt. Eliminate them from your dictionary, from your vocabulary, from your emotional thing. Stand in your power and be true to you. I hope this helped you guys out. Remember, sharing is caring. Share it with all your friends. I'd appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.